has been pitching to buy Warner Brothers, and they've had everything rejected every time, right? But the stock price has gone up, 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 up. Now, what Ellison really wants is CNN and HGTV and the Discovery part of Warner Brothers Discovery. So Warner Brothers has consolidated like 100 times over the last 30 years. Every time it's sucked for Warner Brothers, every time they've said it's necessary, it has never been necessary. But at the moment, you have Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, Netflix has made a deal to buy the Warner Brothers part, but they don't want the Discovery part. They don't want the cable TV. They don't want the all of that stuff. They don't want CNN. They don't want all the Discovery shows. The Ellisons want the Discovery shows. And let me explain why they want them, which is when you watch the news, you know you're watching the news. Your brain is like, I'm watching the news. You turn your well, I do, and I assume some of you do. You turn your critical thinking on. You're thinking like, what are the news? How are they presenting this? What are they focusing on? Or people do to a certain extent, right? They understand that what they're watching is news, what they're watching is political. When you watch a documentary on the Discovery Channel, you don't necessarily do that. When you watch a cooking show, you don't necessarily do that. When you watch Dr. Phil, you don't necessarily do that. So actually, the gemstone, the crown jewel for the Ellisons in terms of the media environment is the non-critical thinking stations, the passive kind of media environment where these things aren't overtly political. Okay, I'm not watching this because I care about the news, but if every time I'm watching this show they talk about, well, this was different before immigrants, they start to, the same way that they put Barry Weiss in as the head of CBS and like, this is what the news looks like now, we're just going to do this like light peppering of stuff. But this isn't even the news. This is a bigger deal, right? Because it's like, you no longer even realize it's so passive. The silly Christmas movie you're watching because it's Christmas time now has these very subtle political themes. And you won't even pick up on it because you're not turning your brain on. Because why would you? Because you're just watching you're just watching Dr. Phil. Why would you even think about turning your brain on? And so there are a lot of people, myself included, who were super duper worried that the sale of Warner Brothers would go through to the Ellisons and to Paramount. I didn't want that. You know what I want? I want Warner Brothers to stay independent. Okay? That's the ideal. Warner Brothers needs to stay independent. Now, that won't happen. But a huge problem is everyone's like, oh, the Ellisons lost the bid. No, they didn't. Okay, something's happened behind the scenes that we don't know about. Fed posting, something has happened. There has been some coordination that has happened because when Skydance bought Paramount, they set up three corporations in Delaware to do the purchase. Pinnacle Media, Pinnacle something. When I do a video, I'll tell you, okay? But basically it was like Pinnacle Media Corporation 1, 2, and 3, because Paramount's a huge thing. They had to create these different structures so that they could purchase it and run it and keep the investment across different things. 2 days before this sale went through, or this thing was announced between Netflix and Warner Brothers, the Ellisons put in Pinnacle Media 4. So they still you don't set up a corporation to do this kind of acquisition if you don't think the acquisition is going to go through. But Warner Brothers Discovery is huge. You wouldn't just set up one corp to buy that. You might, though, if you were only buying the Discovery part. Okay, so everyone's like, oh, Trump will block this because he's friends with Ellison, and Ellison wanted the Warner Brothers. No. Ellison wanted Discovery. Ellison wanted CNN. Ellison wanted the cable channels, and Ellison is going to get those. They're going to get the... I think... Okay, chocolate, I'm going to come back to that in a second. But they're going to go... This is going to last 18 months, okay? they're going to say, you're not allowed to sell this big, it's too big a corporation for you to sell in this way. And so in an attempt to appease the antitrust, the anti-monopoly sort of laws, they will break up Warner Brothers and Discovery, okay? And then Discovery will go to the Ellisons and Warner Brothers will go to Netflix, which is kind of the absolute worst possible result that you can imagine. Okay, Chocolate, just to quickly discuss your point about the FCC shutting down Jimmy Kimmel for a bit. I actually think this was also a move for... the Ellisons were testing Disney and how open they were to being acquired. So I think everything is looking a test, because Sinclair also, so this is where it's complicated. I really need my board, my red board with my strings. Sinclair didn't put Jimmy Kimmel back on stage, on screen. So even though Disney did, okay, Josiah, I can see that you just super chatted me $20, but I can't see the super chat. Hang on. I'm going to my phone. Turn the volume right down. Sidebar Joe, please know the Hornets lost. Oh, but less than 10. You're right. That's a victory. We're taking it as a victory. Okay, yeah. So we're going to talk about, there's kind of two sides to this. There's the paragovernmental state media, which is what the Ellisons et al. Are trying to do in terms of taking all of your news or semi-news content and turning it into basically state media. And then you have Netflix and Warner Brothers. I can't even say it. I cannot even tell you how bad this is for the film industry. These are two sides of my world colliding and destroying. Oh, hi IRI. Sorry, I didn't see that. Thank you for liking my lighting. Thank you. So politically, if Paramount is able to take Discovery, that is a political disaster. That is the beginning of state media, and it's going to happen so fast. Theatrically, in terms of the film industry, in terms of the television industry, Netflix taking Warner Brothers over, I, of course, would never pirate because pirating is illegal. But I'm going to say, if you love a movie, you better get a physical copy of that or a Plex copy of that as soon as you can, because that IP, Netflix will only lease it out at an extraordinarily high price. It'll be pay-per-view. They'll be able to change it. They'll be able to use AI to change it. And while you're talking, I want you to understand, if they acquire Warner Brothers, they are acquiring Casablanca, okay? Of course, it's about taking away communal space. It's about we live in the weirdest possible world where it feels like everything good, everything you enjoy in this world is being destroyed. So a very small minority of the rich can get richer, and a very small minority of the powerful can get even more powerful. I don't know why you think Casablanca is going to be public domain. Also, Warner Brothers has one of the oldest collections in the industry. They do a lot of the best remastering. They have a lot of the classics, and I'm so worried about what's going to happen to that old stuff. The thing is, the prices are going to be insane. The prices are going to be insane, okay? Anyone who tells you that this isn't worth completely freaking out about is wrong. The extreme centralization over the creation, production, and distribution of culture is not good at all. Because this is the thing as well. Netflix they don't like theaters. So first of all, theaters are going to completely close. because theaters rely on a certain number of new releases to make a profit, right? And when's the last big one we saw? When Disney bought Fox, right, in 2019. So when Disney bought Fox in 2019, they went from something like 24 new theatrical releases down to 14. And this is accounting for things like COVID, obviously, but without that going to cinemas, the cinemas will not be able to operate, okay? So you will not be able to go and see a movie in the cinema because there won't be cinemas to see them in, first of all. Second of all, that really, like, as a person who loves the cinema, that is very upsetting for me. And it's so upsetting that this is happening in a year where movies have done so well. Because what did we have this year? One Battle After Another. I didn't particularly like that movie. I didn't like it. I'm a big PTA fan. I didn't like it. I would have hated it if I had to watch it on this. That movie had to be... I saw it in VistaVision. So it didn't even matter that I didn't like the movie because I saw it in VistaVision. And I liked seeing it in VistaVision, okay? What else did we have? We had Sinners. We had Weapons. We had even the Minecraft movie, which I'm not going to see that. But, like, I went to the New York Film Festival. So I saw a movie, like, I saw sometimes 2 movies a day for 2 weeks, okay? But it's not... They're going to kill it. And they're saying that the movies are already dead. The movies are not dead. Can I explain this to you guys, just so it's very clear? Going to a theatrical experience in a group is one of the oldest human experiences that we have, right? I don't know what to tell you. Going and sitting in a theater with other people and having an emotional response, having this shared communal ritualistic thing, that is human behavior. We love to do that. We've done it since the Greeks. We've done it since forever. That will never go out of vogue. Here's what happened. There was a pandemic. Okay? There was a pandemic. We could not go to the movies. Then when the movies opened up again, everything was so expensive. We could not go to the movies. So watching things at home on Netflix was not a result of us not wanting to go to the movies. It was a result of us not being able to afford to do something different. And now Netflix is going to hike their prices even more. If you accounted for inflation, Netflix should be selling at $10, not $18, okay? They're going to keep hiking those prices. And they're saying as well, the thing is, what goes to a theater, the way you make film for a theater and the way you make film for freaking Netflix are so different, because it's the presence of the second screen, okay? You cannot... The whole point of being in a theater is that you're not allowed to pull out your phone. You are there to experience. Also, everyone's getting ready for the Odyssey. Everyone's psyched for Nolan and the Odyssey. And so, okay... Nothing is going to have a theatrical release. You're not going to get to see it. You're only going to get to see it on your phone. They're not going to pick up actual directors and things, because why the hell would you pay for an actual big theatrical experience if people are just going to watch it in the background on their phone? You wouldn't. That's why what you're going to end up with is massive slop where people are talking about what they're doing, so you don't have to look at the screen. There will be nothing visually exciting, because why? If you're not going to put it on IMAX. That's why we have to pray to the gods, okay? And in this case, we have 3 patron saints. I'm dubbing them now. Lena Khan, the obvious patron saint for antitrust. Lena Khan, we need you in this moment, okay? Next up, Nicole Kidman, patron saint of the theatrical experience. Patron saint. This is where we come, okay? Nicole Kidman, patron saint of the theatrical experience. And this is controversial because of their former relationship, but it has to be said. Tom Cruise, patron saint of the movies. the last living movie star. I saw Mission Impossible, the latest one in the cinema, IMAX. I could not have seen that movie in any other way. I don't even really like Mission Impossible, but what an experience. The first hour sucked, but the last hour and a half was so good. I couldn't breathe, okay? The thing is, you may go to the theaters to make fun of movies unless... This is the thing as well that people don't get, right? Movies are never going to be good again, okay? If there can't be a theatrical release. The reason that there are bad movies... There used to be this... They actually outlawed it with the Paramount... No, something else. Okay. You used to bundle movies. So you would sell like a top tier movie with some shitty movies. The shitty movies were there to give people a vehicle to develop their talent, right? If you're creating a world where everyone has to... This is the thing. If there are now only like less than 6 production companies that are really... Where are you meant to pitch your idea to if you don't have any experience? Where are you meant to learn? Where are you meant to get your small budget made? Because it's like, well, who's going to watch this? We either need you to make it so that people can be listening to it in the background, or your weird little idea that you have, that's not going to get made. The reason you have shitty B-grade movies is because making a movie is really difficult and you need experience to do it. And sometimes that experience is making a B movie, making a movie where you take big swings but it kind of sucks. Like, I don't know. As someone like, and the HBO thing that you like, forget about prestige television as well. Something that HBO really kept over the, even going into the streaming world was the Sunday release, right? We release on Sundays because there is a community aspect to people coming together and watching the show. And the reason that you speak words. The reason that you do a slow release, okay, so take a show like The Pitt. The reason that you do a slow release where you drop every Sunday instead of dropping everything immediately is it gives a show the time to build its audience. Shows don't automatically find an audience. It takes time. And if you look at the, your Spotify Wrapped, something that I want to tell you is when you look at what is watched the most on these streaming platforms, it's all of the stuff from legacy television. It's Suits, it's Grey's Anatomy, it's The Good Wife, it's Friends. It's these shows that have hundreds of episodes where they were released weekly, where they built up an audience, and that is not how the Netflix model works at all. The Netflix model is pay writers to do 6 episodes, drop them, put as much money into getting stars as you can, drop it all in one day. If it doesn't get super good results within 2 weeks, cancel it for season 2. So if you're a writer, this represents so many job losses in the industry. I can't even tell you, across television and film, so many jobs are being lost. So much art is being lost. It will not be made. Slop content will be made. AI content, and this is it. Okay, wait. Before I get into the AI thing, I want to tell you that there is some hope because some people are very upset. So I don't know if you guys heard me play Every Breath You Take during the cow intro. I recently watched the Diddy documentary because this may come as a surprise to you guys, but there was a period where I was really into West Coast rap, gangster rap. I know you look at me and your first thought is Cripple Blood. Cripple Blood. What I want you to know is, yes, I'm a gangster, but the closest that I can actually come to living that reality is being in a union. Okay. And I want to tell you, I'm union through and through. It's as close as I'm ever going to get to being in a gang. Okay. And my unions They're upset. There's an anonymous letter from A-listers. Christopher Nolan is going to talk to the heads of Netflix. The Directors Guild is trying to talk to people to get this stopped. The Writers Guild has said this will... Well, I'm in the Writers Guild, actually. The Advocate Devil. I'm in the Writers Guild. So, the Writers Guild is like, this is a noose around the industry. So I'm hoping... The problem is, the only good result is for Warner Brothers to stay independent, and I don't see that happening. That is the only good result. Okay, now I need to talk about freaking AI. So, guys, this is so depressing. I literally just watched movies all Saturday because I was like, I need to be okay. I need to be okay. Also, someone before, I don't remember who it was like, oh, the industry's already dead because you think Mission Impossible is good. I won't have this, okay? Mission Impossible... I'm not one for franchises normally, okay? I don't like franchises. The reason I brought Mission Impossible up as an example is because, one, I think people automatically assume that action movies are bad. In the same way that people assume that chick flicks are bad. Action movies from a writing perspective, so like I'm a big fan of John Woo, action movies chew through plot. A lot has to happen in an action to keep people interested. So if you're a plot-driven person, action movies are huge. Mission Impossible consistently pushes the limit of what can be done practically on screen. Okay? So you are watching Tom Cruise hang off an airplane, and he is actually doing that. You are watching things happen underwater, and that is actually happening. The reason I bring Mission Impossible up across these different landscapes, doing these different practical stunts, pushing the limits of what can happen, pushing plot and how much you can... That's why I said the first hour is not good, because it's all about franchise. The second hour and a half, very good, okay? The reason I bring up Mission Impossible is because that movie was made to be viewed on an IMAX screen. If you watch Mission Impossible here, you will not have the same experience. I am so mad right now that if I didn't need this to live, I would smash it on the desk. Okay? I would smash it on the desk. Okay? But I need it, so I can't. But I would. I would smash it on the desk. I would forsake communication with anyone ever again. And I would only watch movies. We won't be able to afford anything. They're taking away everything that's good. Everything that makes us happy. Okay, wait. AI. Oh, great. AI. Okay. Oh, guys, also, can we just talk about, just quickly, before I go into this AI, I want you to understand, Warner Brothers owns so much IP. Not only does it own, like, all the Warner Brothers classics, so a lot of the classic films, it owns DC, it owns Harry Potter, it owns Lord of the Rings, it owns Game of Thrones, it owns Looney Tunes, it owns Scooby-Doo, it owns Dune, it owns Godzilla, it owns King Kong. Okay? Now what Netflix is going to do with that IP is extremely, extremely concerning. Just to pause. Top Gun Maverick, I need you to understand, Tom Cruise being in something doesn't automatically make something a great theatrical experience, even though he is the last living movie star. Meaning that Tom Cruise can exist on screen and he's Tom Cruise and we're all fine with that. Okay? We're like, yeah, amazing. We love Tom Cruise. Okay? Top Gun Maverick was just... it's very exciting. It was propaganda. In the same way that House of Dynamite is propaganda. That's, Catherine Bigelow, she's going to do that. That's what she's going to do, okay? Top Gun was very exciting. The one thing that Top Gun Maverick did really well, and it's something that as someone in the industry, no, but as someone who writes scripts, it was something I thought they did really well in Top Gun Maverick, which was they had to fly a path. The big part of the movie is that they have to do something very specific. They have to fly a very specific flight path. And so what you want to do, and this happens, when this is most important is action movies, but more so horror movies or thriller movies, is establishing a filmic map. So, for instance, let's say I was making a movie about a shooter. I want to make sure that if the shooter is in like a school, for instance, Villeneuve does this in Polytechnique really well. I want to make sure that before the shooting happens, my audience is very clear of the layout of that school. If I'm in a horror movie and someone's going to come in and try and kill people in the house, I want to make sure that my audience already knows the layout of the house extremely well before anything happens, right? Because this means that they're like, go left, go right, don't go that way, You want your audience to be in it. So the thing that Top Gun Maverick did really well is the flight path that they had to take at the end was extremely implanted in the audience's mind so that when we got to the point of them flying the mission, you didn't have to do any exposition because we already knew the flight path. Now, obviously the bad things were the propaganda, the fact that we had no idea who the enemy was. We're seeing a lot of political movies these days that are devoid of politics. So they're like political movies that another great example is Alex Garland's Civil War, where a civil war broke out, but we had absolutely no understanding of what the Civil War was. And I actually found One Battle After Another to be a political movie that had no politics. But anyway, my problem is that this all started with, let me look at my notes. Everyone just wait 1 second. This is so bad. I want you to understand that this is like, imagine if a quarter of the restaurants in the world were bought by McDonald's. And now a quarter of the restaurants in the world, they only drive through. Sorry, only drive through for those. And, that thing that you like, that's slightly changed. It's not as good as it once was. Oh, you want that? That's not on the menu anymore. Sorry. If you want it, we'll do it maybe 1 week of the year, but you'll have to pay an extra fee to get that meal that you once just could get at this restaurant. You could just sit down and get it. And the menu now, it's just the menu at your favorite Italian fine dining place. It's just McDoubles. Oh, you don't like a McDouble? Well, that's the menu. That's the menu. God damn it. Oh no, they're going to get The Conjuring 2 and The Matrix. Oh. Okay, let me find this thing that I wrote. Wait. I wrote a lot. I haven't seen Marty. Okay, I was at the New York Film Festival where Marty Supreme obviously premiered as a secret screening. I decided not to go to the secret screening, but I am leaving a box open in my top movies of the year for Marty Supreme because I think it will be good. Yeah, and thank Bill Clinton for the fucking Telecommunications Act. Where did I write this? Oh, here we go. Okay, so Disney is led by this guy named Bob Iger. I don't know what his name is. And he said that Disney Plus will soon allow streamers to create user-generated content and to consume user-generated content from others using AI and the IP that they own. So these are the people who owns Star Wars, Pixar, Marvel, like what they're saying is, we want you to be able to make memes out of our IP. We want you to be able to rewrite our IP, and you can just make your own version. So for instance, imagine you want to make your own version of an episode of Friends that everyone can watch. I'm just going to make my own episode, and then you can follow me for my own episodes, but I'll never get paid for it. Yeah, skibbity toilet all the way down, right? Like, everything that is good about a movie is that the movie is, even flaws and all, it is done. That's how it is. That's what you get. You get that movie, it's unedited, it is what it is. That's why we like the movies. Not anymore, friends. And it's so funny because originally, oh my God, Citizen Kane. It's okay. As you centralize more, you make it easier to control, right? But then, okay, Star Wars always gets edited, but this is like, okay, for instance, I'm a huge Sailor Moon fan. I spent so long looking for the original dub because they replaced it with a new English dub, and the new English dub is so bad that I had no choice but to go and look for it by other means, okay? But, where is this that I wrote as well? Yeah, so what I wanted to talk about as well is that as you get this tighter consolidation of the media, right, it becomes a lot easier to control, which is why I'm discussing it as like a para-government, this is state media just outsourced to the private billionaires who are friends with Trump, right? So like Sinclair Media, who own the TV stations, they literally, the CEO or the chairman, Dave Smith, he told Trump in 2016, "We are here to deliver your message." Okay? Larry Ellison puts money into the Trump campaign. He says to him, if we win the deal to take over Warner Brothers, we'll take any CNN journalist you like off the air. That's a promise. This is a huge deal, right? Like Barry Weiss put in as the head of CBS, put in as the head of news. And it happens really quickly. This is what happened in Hungary under Viktor Orban, right? Over 90% of the media is owned by allies of Orban. So he dictates what goes on the TV. This happened in Russia under Vladimir Putin, right? Between 2000 and 2004, Putin captures... are my books fake? No, I covered them in white paper. It took me... And that's why those books down there, they're not covered yet because I got lazy. Yeah, this happened in Hungary. This happened in Russia. This happened in Turkey. Right? It happens cronies own 90% of the media in all of these places. It happens really quick. And these places are not free. And you're not going to notice it. And it's going to happen slowly. And the problem is, right, like for instance, as I was saying to people who caught my stream the other day, I didn't really like One Battle After Another. But the movie that I saw that I kind of held it in parallel with in terms of being this like chase sequence that had political undertones, was Jafar Panahi's It Was Just an Accident, which is an Iranian movie which criticizes the Iranian police and the Iranian regime. Okay. And it was a very fun movie. It was very good. And Jafar is on his Oscars kind of trip right now, but Iran has sentenced him to prison. This will not be the first time that he's gone to prison. This will not be the first time that he's been banned from making movies. And that will start to happen here. That you will not be able to make a movie. You will not be able to get distribution, right? If they're already saying, like, I don't know if you saw, but at Homeland Security, they're telling, deny HB1 visas for people who are involved in censorship. So if you're a fact checker, you are getting your visa denied because that's criticizing the government. And that's like, that won't just happen in the news, right? It will happen in the news. You know, someone said the other day, oh, Caitlin Collins always stands up in these press briefings. Yeah, because she has a job, but she may not have a job for long. If Larry Ellison takes over CNN, she may not have a job, okay? But it won't just be the news. It won't just be Barry Weiss being put in as the head of every news program. It will be your culture. There won't be movies. Adam McKay will not be able to make a film. Adam McKay will not be able to make a film. Yeah, I'm sure it's happening in India under Modi. It will happen like a... So when I was with my sister in Brooklyn, we were trying to watch Hallmark movies, but we found another television station and it was subtly putting these political messages into the Christmas movies. So then you'll start to have this more subtle cultural, like, what did I watch the other day? And I was like, oh, I hated it so much. And that's a shame because he doesn't fit this mold at all. But okay, 2 movies I really thought sucked. I'm going to get some hate here. Just take a breath. Take a breath before I say what I'm about to say. After the Hunt sucked. And I'm a Luca fan, but After the Hunt was very bad. Especially if you know anything about philosophy. It was very unbelievable and hard to stomach. And Tar sucked. But you're going to see a bunch of these movies where it's like, and the same, even in One Battle After Another, when it was like, oh, I've got some they, them on the phone. Like, you're going to see a lot of that get picked up. And you're not going to see like any messages that support agendas that, like, you're not going to get a Moonlight. You're not going to get, I don't know, you're just not going to get anything. It's just going to suck. I don't want to tell you guys. Should we watch a video on freaking Larry Ellison? I don't know how to stream anymore. Of course videos have movies have political messages. They all should. Movies are by their very nature political. They're telling human stories. Politics is how we relate to one another. All movies are going to have some sort of politics under them. I need to watch Sorry Baby. I'm a huge fan of Eva Victor. I really want to watch Sorry Baby. That's on my list. I'll probably watch it tonight. I want to watch Memories of a Murder. And I want to watch the others because I'm trying to go through Amenabar's catalogue. But yes, I do want to watch that. But yeah, all movies are political. It's a matter of like which movies get made, because it is very hard to get a movie made. So when you get a movie like Top Gun Maverick made, or you get a movie like United 93 made, or you get a movie like House of Dynamite made, these are all political in a way that feels sanitized because it's culture, you know. It's not really that big a deal. But then I'm saying that movies that are political, like It Was Just an Accident by Panahi, like No Other Choice even, I think. Yeah, I mean, if you understand politics to be relations between human beings, how do we relate to one another? How do we relate to power? How do we, like, to me, at its very base, that's what politics is. How do we associate with one another? That is what politics is. How, as a society, do we organize ourselves? So if that's what you understand politics to mean, then every film is going to be political. Of course, there are movies that are more political directly, like they're actually about the political domain. They're almost like politically procedural, which is your more Catherine Bigelow movies, right? But all movies are political. It doesn't mean they're all political in the same way. A lot of people who saw no other choice were talking about it as like a Marxist critique, which I totally disagree with. I don't think it was a critique on capitalism. I don't think it was a critique on those things. I think people were trying to push it into a box to be that. So I'm not saying that every movie is political in the same way. I'm just saying there will be a political message in almost everything you watch. And as we consolidate the media ecosystem, so that there are now like 6 production companies and everyone's fighting to get their movie made for those 6 production companies, and those 6 production companies are all owned by close friends of Donald Trump, then what is able to get made is going to get smaller and smaller in terms of what you're allowed to make. You know what we all need to see? Sorry, just while we're doing the movies. Everyone, go and see Began's Resurrection. It's going to come out in Australia January 1st. Everyone go to the cinema and see this movie. I just think it's important to be clear at what the bad outcome is if we try to convince people. Like, you're going to get worse movies and they won't even have the decency to not beat you over the head with propaganda. You're going to get worse you're not even really going to get movies at all. You're going to get background viewing. So you're going to get YouTube slop, just made more expensive. It's going to be super expensive for you to watch. So you're going to be paying $25 to watch an old movie that previously you could have watched for free. It's going to have ads. And I'm not one, like, slop isn't just AI. Human beings can make slop, and human beings are going to be forced to make slop. And it is going to be political, not necessarily in like an overt way, in a Dr. Phil kind of way, right? Like a lot of preaching of personal responsibility, only telling very particular stories. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be, and all of the soft culture stuff, all of the home improvement shows, all of that is going to get very political. And then people who are apolitical, people, like your aunties and your uncles, who say they're not really engaged in politics, suddenly they're going to have like extreme animosity for China. Which, like, there are good reasons to have animosity for China. I'm not saying there's not. What I'm saying is it's going to be subconsciously communicated to them through their cooking show. They're not going to have a reason for it. The movies are just IRL euphemism, a place to zone out with friends and make out with someone with food. No, I freaking love the movies. I love sitting next to people. I love it when we all go, I love it when that happens. I love sitting in a room and it's just like, here I am with this one thing for the next 2 hours. Me and this thing. It's just us for the next 2 hours, okay? Me in the cinema. I actually also, don't bring your food into the fucking cinema. Nothing I hate more than when someone's opening their crinkly bag. Did you have to eat in here? Anyway, it's whatever. You can have popcorn. Don't bring a bag. Also, don't bring a meal. What is this new thing with people bringing a meal to the cinema? Why are you bringing all these bags of stuff? I go to the cinema and I don't take anything. I just sit there with my movie because I'm a real cinephile. Okay. Yeah, guys, I don't know. It's bad. I've got some videos to watch on Larry Ellison because I need to know more about him, but I just don't even know if I know how to stream anymore. Can I tell you the truth? Don't you bring a burrito to the movies. Don't do it. The reason I don't like popcorn in the movies is that it's going to get in my teeth and then I can't just watch my movie. I just need to watch my movie. I also like a Diet Coke, but I always feel compelled to get the biggest freaking size. And I saw Lynn Ramsey's Die My Love, a movie made just for me, by the way. Literally, she makes movies for me. I love her. Anyway, saw that movie. I'm sitting there and I need to pee. But I can't pee because the movie's so good. The movie is made for me. I don't want to miss a second. I don't want to miss even a minute. I can't miss a second of this movie. But I'm also upset because I'm like, I don't want to be thinking about the fact that I need to pee. I want to be relaxed so I can take the movie in. I want to take it in. So that's why you can't drink in the theater, basically. You got to prep like you're going to a festival. What do I think about Begonia? Loved it. I'm a huge Jesse Plemons fan, huge Emma Stone. Like, there was lots to love in Begonia, but I did think that the political message of the movie was dumbed down. I love Yorgos Lanthimos, so I'm not going to hate the movie. But I really want to watch the movie it's based on, the Something from the Green Planet. Yeah. Did I go or not? I actually don't remember. Did I go? I might have gone and ran. I might have ran to the bathroom. So A24 is not the only place that's really kicking goals for me right now is Mubi. I like what Mubi's doing. Yeah, exactly. Volata, this is just about that guy who's in charge of what's its face getting his bonus. This is not anything except that guy getting his bonus. This is not. So who do we have? We've got Bezos, Murdoch, Bloomberg, the Ellisons, Musk, and that's pretty much it. And Sinclair Media, but yeah, great. Neon's got some good stuff coming out right now too. I don't think that anything Yorgos has done recently though, like Poor Things, Kinds of Kindness, Begonia, like I am a big fan of Killing of the Sacred Deer, The Lobster, like I don't think anything he's done recently is quite as good. What were my personal movies of the year? Let me just get my letterbox open. I'm saving space for Marty Supreme, which I think I'll like. Sinclair Media, you're right, doesn't produce, but they still own a lot of the stations, which choose what gets put on the air. Let me just see. I watched Cure this year as well, which wasn't something that I saw at the cinema. Obviously, it's an old movie. But holy moly, once you watch a movie that's incredible, I don't know what you're meant to do. Because then you watch another movie and you're like, well, I mean, it was good if I compared it to other things I've watched, but in comparison to Cure, it sucked. Okay. Let me see. What did I see that was great? I want to tell you straight away that I loved. Sentimental Value, loved. The Sound of Falling, loved. No Other Choice, loved. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, hated. Die My Love, loved. If It Was an Accident, It Was an Accident, loved. I'm gonna love Resurrection, and I'm gonna love Marty Supreme. So they're probably my movies of the year. But there were a lot of great movies this year. Yeah. I was gonna watch some videos on Larry Ellison. I need to get better at streaming, guys. I need to remember how to do this. As in, and when I say that, I mean I need to learn how to react. Netflix, I thought, was broke. Everyone talks about how Netflix makes no money. If I Had Legs was just a bad version of Die My Love. I really don't like Mary Bronstein's writing. I don't enjoy that whole like New York scene of writers. It's kind of like mumblecore. I don't like that kind of writing, with Safdie's being the exception. But even Safdie was a producer on that movie, and I saw Joanna, what were you thinking just then, and then it left your head? Oh yeah, I went and saw the premiere of If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You at the New York Film Festival, and Conan O'Brien was there, Rose Byrne was there. I left before the Q&A because I didn't like it so much. I was like, I don't want to watch this. Oh, and I still need to watch Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Okay, I'll do that tonight as well. Yeah, there are videos on who Larry Ellison is. The problem is the content I want to watch is always content that doesn't exist because I need to make it. And I'm scared to watch. Okay, okay, we're going to watch something. All right? You win. You win. Oh, More Perfect Union has a video too. Sick. Okay, there's some stuff we'll watch. If we hate it, we hate it. We'll stop, okay? Well, was Frankenstein bad? Okay. Well, I'll still watch it. Yeah, It Was an Accident was was one of my movies of the year, and it only got 3, because you can be a movie of the year and only get 3. And the reason for that is the movie was a 3. The fact the movie got made was a 5. And the movie also grew on me over time. And a good movie, this is like, okay, I want to sound like, for a second, you know how Looksmaxers are like, when women think someone is average, they'll rate her a 7, but average is actually a 5. That's kind of like, 3 is a good rating. 3 stars is good. To get 4 stars with me, you gotta be incredible. To get 5 stars, well, holy moly. The only 5-star movie I saw this year was Cure. Die My Love was 4.5. But Cure was the only 5 movie I saw. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro mostly does pretty movies, but I like a good pretty movie. I watched Angel's Egg. Sometimes a movie... Okay, no, not Angel's Egg. I did watch Angel's Egg, though, and this fits too. But I watched a Claire Denis film, Fences. I think that's what it was called. Sometimes with a movie, you just got to sit there and you got to catch a vibe. Right? Stop trying to understand it. Stop trying to... You just got to catch a vibe. Just sit there. And that's pretty much every Claire Denis work for me, but, you know. Okay. Let's get 'em. Okay, tell me how we go with the volume.
Why it's so important. Larry, this is why it's so important that I'm your friend. You don't need any more money.
Not only Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, Larry Ellison is America's 3rd richest man.
Too loud?
I said, yeah, I know.
Larry Ellison is now the world's 2nd richest man.
Then I said, but we don't have
Thanks,
to keep
guys.
it. We could give it all away.
Larry Ellison has become the world's richest person for the first time.
In the case of Larry Ellison, it's well beyond technology, is sort of CEO of everything.
I've heard a lot about Larry Ellison lately, but for all that attention, I felt like I still knew nothing about him. This guy is on track to be a trillionaire.
Wait. Hello, fellow video essayist. This person is named River Wand. Okay? So if you like this video... Oh, wait, you guys aren't watching the video. professional streamer. If you want to see the video, you have to sub. I can't show you the video because you're not subbed. This guy is named Riverwand. Okay? Let me work out how to show you things. Yeah, the video, it was meant to be on stream, but I'm the content. So the video is top secret just for Jalantir, okay? Don't you love how my transition comes after the transition? I got it. If anyone knows how to sort that out. Because that really bugs me. Every time it happens, I don't like that. Okay, we're starting again. It's always an artistic choice with me.
Larry, this is why it's so important that I'm your friend. You don't need any more money.
Not only Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, Larry Ellison is America's third richest man.
I said, yeah, I know.
Larry Ellison is now the world's second richest man.
Oh,
Then I said, but we don't have to keep it. We could give it all.
something I wanted to tell you guys as well is Larry Ellison. The other reason I know that Larry Ellison is going to get the Discovery, I know. The other reason I think and I'm always right, that Larry Ellison is going to get the Discovery part of Warner Brothers Discovery is because he had dropped off being the second richest person, and then the day the Netflix deal went through, he went back to being the richest person by about $5 billion. Second richest, sorry, by about $5 billion. And and the company that's being used to incorporate the Pinnacle Media 4, he's gonna get it. I love Killing of the Sacred Deer. You need to retry and watch it. Just give into it. Just catch the vibe. As I'm saying, a lot of the time with movies, you gotta just let the movie flow over you. Catch the vibe. Yeah, and we got some weird shit happening with EA as well, and with a lot of education tech, and literally what he's saying about how he plans to use them. But we'll go into that.
All away.
Larry Ellison has become the world's richest person for the first time.
In the case of Larry Ellison, it's well beyond technology, is sort of CEO of everything.
I've heard a lot about Larry Ellison lately, but for all that attention, I felt like I still
Hello,
knew nothing
fellow
about
video
him.
essayist.
This guy is on track to be a trillionaire and the richest man in the world, and yet I feel like I know nothing. It just
Thank you for becoming a member. Do stuff and things.
seems crazy. So I did a deep dive to try and figure out what he's doing and what our future looks like with him. This is Larry Ellison.
Guys, he doesn't just own TikTok. He owns all sorts of stuff that he owns. This is what I feel I need to. Okay, hopefully this guy will talk about it. I don't need to make a video. Okay.
Often referred to as the CEO of everything, the man that went from programming computers to programming an entire country. In this video, we will touch on his early life, his main company Oracle that is partnered with the CIA, and lastly, his involvement in taking over
Sorry,
the media.
guys.
Larry Ellison was born in New York City in 1944 to a Jewish mother and an Italian-American father. However, they did not raise him. His mother gave him up for adoption before he turned 1. These pieces of
Oh, great. So it's mommy issues. It's always something with these guys. Mommy issues for him, daddy issues for Elon.
his life are very important because it shapes
He wants to be more than God. He wants to be more than God.
him. His mom was only 19 years old when he was born, and then he would never meet his biological father again, and that had an impact on him. He will spend the next 80 years of his life trying to garner as much power as possible, even buying the 6th largest island in Hawaii. He won't stop there.
Got to get into the island business. I think, actually, no. Let's stay out of the island business. We did the island the other night. No
He is
good.
buying almost every media outlet that opposes his worldview, and let me tell you, Everything is for sale. His mom gave him up to his aunt and uncle who would raise him in South Shore, Chicago, which is a Jewish middle-class neighborhood. This is one of the most interesting parts of Larry Ellison's life because he grew up in a very religious household, attending synagogue often, but he says he never cared too much for religion. And the reason why this is so interesting is because he's one of the largest supporters of Israel in the world, being the largest.
I think this is always really interesting, the way that people conflate this in their mind, because being Jewish is both cultural and religious, right? So you cannot be religious and still feel a very strong affinity to Israel. That, I don't know why that's presented as like a contradiction. I think it's totally normal for him to feel an affinity to Israel, even if he isn't religiously Jewish.
Single donor to Israeli military, buying TikTok and news networks, all to create a perfectly concocted narrative. He says this.
I just want to say immediately, I'm acknowledging this. I don't like anything that feels like zogging, okay? I don't like it. I want to be very careful about it. And I think we can look critically at Larry Ellison's support for the IDF and the work that he has done in terms of the IDF and the media. But just because he's super rich and he's super powerful and he's Jewish, those three things can exist without it being things can correlate, and there can be no, I don't want to zog. I don't even want to get close to zogging, okay?
Support is not religious, but more so because of their technology sector, partnerships,
Okay.
investments, and he claims to have a deep emotional connection to Israel, whatever that means. For the last part about his childhood, he said he had a great relationship.
Whatever that means. Yeah, a lot of culturally Jewish people have a strong relationship to Israel because they are taught from a very young age that Israel is their safe place, their homeland, the most important part of their identity. I don't like it when people act like this is confusing.
With his adopted mother, but his adopted father was cold and unsupportive.
Well, so I had very strong authoritarian
Daddy issues, daddy issues, daddy issues.
figures both in school and at home, which served as wonderful examples of how not to be.
You know, for a guy who says he didn't want to be an authoritarian figure and is now creating a police state is kind of crazy, and I question how we got here. And for Larry Ellison, these are canon events. These parts of our lives shape who we become. And having the most powerful person in the world with mommy and daddy issues is not good for us. Larry says,
I did not pre-watch. In fact, he stole my joke. I know he made the video a month ago. But I said it first. Okay? It's not as funny when a man says it.
he has always questioned authority, getting into arguments with his teachers and anyone that held a belief that society deemed respected or trusted. In many interviews, he talks about not trusting the government, which is ironic, as we will find out his biggest partner is the government. He attempts college, but
This is ironic, but it happens a lot. Have you, like, Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, like a lot of these people who are, their whole brand is like, don't trust the government, do the exact bidding of the government. And that, I don't know how that works, but it's not, yeah, I know it's a recession indicator that I'm live. I'm actually trying to be a real streamer. Okay?
doesn't last a year and instead moves to Berkeley, California. This is the very early stages of Silicon Valley. He moved there to become a programmer, and this is where the story really begins. Silicon Valley might be the devil's den because the worst people spawn from there. Larry Ellison is now freshly moved to Silicon Valley. He started picking up random programming jobs from Wells Fargo and a company called Amdel, which helped design IBM. Keep in mind, getting jobs was different back then. There wasn't 3 calls with recruiters, followed by 4 calls with each manager from every division, just to be told they moved on with other applicants. It was a different world. His first job that gave him access to the government was at Ampex Corporation. Ampex Corporation is these guys. We've seen them in movies and TV shows.
Ampex. Among these was the versatile instrumentation recorder, a tool which rapidly became essential in industrial and scientific research, in medicine, defense, and space exploration, and other data processing systems.
Which is where Larry comes in. In the 1970s, he was put on his first project called Oracle in partnership with the CIA. This was a project to write code for a database program spearheaded by Larry Ellison, Bob Miner, and Ed Oates.
I did not know. Sorry that my camera cuts everything off. I don't care though. I did not know that Oracle from day one was CIA attached. That's interesting to me. Perp, I didn't see you sub. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I didn't see it. Thank you, Purple. Thank you for subbing.
These three would go on to create a company called Software Development Laboratories, which the name would later be turned into what most of us have heard of, and that's Oracle. The first customer of Larry's new company, Oracle, would be none other than the CIA.
Most of you probably do not know that the Central Intelligence Agency was Oracle's first customer.
This would be to build out what they called a relational model of data for large shared databanks. So
Sorry,
much
guys.
talk about Oracle. Oracle this, Oracle that. But what does Oracle actually do? Let's simplify it.
What does Oracle do?
We're the largest supplier of software to manage information. So if you're a corporation keeping track of your inventory or your payroll.
I've always thought, and there might be smart program people in the chat, so please correct me. Oracle is the cloud, no? When people talk about the cloud, that's Oracle most of the time, right? My knowledge of Oracle is similar to my knowledge of F1, so I'm prepared to be wrong.
It's probably managed by an Oracle database. If you're a studio keeping track of your movie titles and movie clips and news stories, it's probably managed by an Oracle database.
I've been listening to countless people talk and describe Oracle, and I heard someone who is much smarter than me describe it this way, that Oracle is the memory and brain of these corporations and governments. And I think that's the easiest way to understand. Larry was the worst programmer out of the three founders, so he got pushed into sales, and this is where he would really step into the spotlight as the face of Oracle. Oracle may be a technology company, but the way it has been run defines Larry Ellison, with insider trading, edging on bankruptcy, and hostile takeovers. These are all characteristics of his personality, and he treats everyone around him with that same type of extremism. As we talk about the power he has obtained, we have to understand how devoid of reality he really is. The way he talks about his business competitors is as...
This is something I have learned, and it's something we all actually need to be taking from these men. My dogs are snoring so loud. Hang on. That's the sound, by the way. She's sleeping. The world is falling apart and my dog is sleeping. Yeah, I think something we need to take from all of these men is just like literally be delusional. That's clearly working for them. Also, watch my last YouTube video about why you shouldn't be delusional. Oh, Formica, thank you for subbing. Why don't I get alerts on this page? Thank you for subbing though. Wait, where am I at? Why is my subs not? Because I just got 2 subs and no county. Yeah, literally, guys, the world is ending. Culture is over. News is over. Apple is fat and asleep. And I can call her fat because she's deaf. X has no customers, only hostages. Yeah, I don't... That just moved the cloud. I don't... Yeah. Thank you. I'm trying to stream again. I'm trying to stream 3 times a week. This is my 3rd stream this week, and so I achieved my goals. And I only have to stream for 2 hours for me to achieve my goal. Okay? I know eventually I'm going to get so good at it. I'm just going to stream all the time. It's going to be 8 hours a day, and you guys aren't going to know what to do. You're going to hate me. You're going to wish I would go away.
quoted, "We're going to run them out of business and buy that building, which we're going to bulldoze. After that, we'll salt the earth, and then we'll go after their families." He is notorious for doing the most insane things to win or take out his opponents. In the early 2000s, he paid private investigators to go through trash at Microsoft and steal computers because he thought they were connected to people that were writing bad articles about him. The person responsible for writing his biography said this was precisely the kind of goofy thing Larry might dream up. In 2013, he was found in the largest scandal in American Cup history. This is racing sailboats, which he owned the team, of course, and America's team was found guilty of tampering with the boat. An extreme personality with delusions of grandeur. Perfect.
Guys, we're gonna have to add sailing to the sports stuff we cover. 1, 2. Do sailboats not sit in the water? Are these floating?
Person responsible for writing his biography said this was precisely the kind of goofy thing Larry might dream up. In 2013...
Okay, the AI bubble is my next thing that I'm getting into. So I'll be contacting you, Perp. I've decided sports are for the girls in 2026.
He was found in the largest scandal in American Cup.
Where is this boat touching the water? Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? They get fly while moving in water. So they fly over the
history. This is...
Guys! And that's a lot of people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is not like one... They're flying.
Racing sailboats, which he owned the team, of course, and America's team was found guilty of tampering with the boat. An extreme personality with delusions of grandeur. Perfect for one of the most powerful people.
Hang on. It does look like it's hovering. You're not wrong. Yeah, I know. They raise up out of the water when they're going fast enough. They're resting on a wing that's under a wing. It's called hydrofoil. Keel is in the water. The other side is in the water. Okay. I didn't say Tenet. I've developed one of my rules for 2020. A rule that I developed over the last year was if I think I'm going to hate something, I don't engage with it. So I didn't listen to Taylor Swift's new album. I didn't watch Tenet. If there's something I know I'm not going to like, and I know I'm not going to like it, I choose me. Because also I was becoming too much, like I love hating. I love being a hater. Because I love things, right? And if you truly love things, you have an opinion about them. And so I love hating things, but if I know I'm going to hate it, I don't want to go into that. I don't want to do that. Okay, so sailboats fly, but not really. There's a wing that's under the water, but they do kind of fly. See, we're killing sports this year. We know all about sport. Guys, it's not flying.
In the world. Let's run through Oracle and Larry Ellison's rise to dominance. Working for Oracle early on seems insane, and I hope this doesn't get my video demonetized, but this is the quotes that they were saying. It was big swinging dicks. They were order takers. They were lucky guys who took orders because everybody wanted this new technology. These are quotes from the people that worked there. They had a saying, GTM, GTFM. Just get the money, get the fucking money. This is
GTM, GTFM. Get the money, get the fucking money. Thank you, Eddie. Gym Tan laundry. Gym Tan money. Thank you for showing everyone that it still works. Gym Tan money. Get the money. Gym Tan money.
Like Wolf of Wall Street for databases. In 1986, Oracle goes public and Larry is turned into a multi-millionaire. And by 1992, he becomes a billionaire, leading the technology market with information databases. In 2001, he is hit with insider trading where he sold $900 million worth of stock prior to a weak earnings report. The SEC never filed charges, but shareholders did. He would settle with the shareholders by donating $100 million to a charity of his choice. I won't make you do the math for a YouTube video. He made $800 million hit a tax break along the way by donating to a charity of his choice, and then just walks away with the money. That's the reality we live in. Our understanding of money is...
Yeah, the video essay is about Larry Ellison. I just got really overwhelmed by the aerodynamics of the sailboat because I already knew that Larry Ellison was a very bad guy. I didn't know that sailboats fly. So that's why you got distracted there. That's why it was unclear. Larry Ellison loves money and is a bad guy because he loves money, but sailboats don't live in the water. I still don't fully So Oracle does databases and the cloud. We're going to have to watch another video on Oracle because I still don't fully understand what it is. I'm sorry for all the smart people in my chat who fully get what Oracle does, but I need to learn in the dumbest... Okay. Here's what I think I do well as a person. I take things that are very complicated and I make them digestible. And the thing is, if I don't know what Oracle is, I know no one does. Really. Maybe you do because you're smart about computers, but the everyday person doesn't know what Oracle does. And we need to work this out, okay? I think it's the cloud, right? The cloud is basically renting another computer's computing power. And does Oracle own that computer that has the power? Oracle, I understand that it's a technology company. I understand it's the cloud, but I don't know what... Okay, that makes sense. So... No, they own patents and use them to make money. It's like a framework for big internet. Okay. Maybe the 10K. Who are the 10K? Can you send me a link?
Not the same as these billionaires. And to put it into perspective, in 2006, he maxed out a credit card, which is common, except his credit card had a limit of $1 billion. When it comes to business, Larry has a slogan. If you can't...
He's a girl. He's a girl. He loves to shop. $1 billion? I can't even qualify for a credit card. Oracle owns the servers that the cloud is hosted on. Okay, cool. Okay, you don't fully know. Okay. You keep talking about feet. I'm not showing you my feet. 1. 2, we all know what feet really are. They're a gateway drug for other stuff you want to see, and I'm not showing you that either. Okay? Stop talking about my feet, you big weirdo.
Beat them fast enough, buy them, integrate them, and make them better. The making them better is questionable, but he sure as hell bought everything that competed with him. In 2005, buys competitor PeopleSoft. 2006, buys competitor Siebel Systems. 2008, buys BEA Systems. 2007, buys Hyperion.
Okay, so more consolidation and monopolies. Great. So they don't really own the other computers that are being rented, but they own the relationship between those computers and the renters. God. Okay. We're gonna have to do some real deep diving on the frickin' cloud. I don't know what ERM and CRM are. Basically, database and software to manage users and their interactions for the purpose of sales and marketing. Okay, that makes sense. But I'm gonna have to look it up. Can you guys hear Apple snoring? She's snoring loud.
2010 buys Microsystems. 2016 buys NetSuite. 2022 buys Cerner. By the end of all of these buyouts, he's no longer just involved in the government. He is now in the healthcare industry, financial industry, and hosting some of the biggest websites in the world. You have used Oracle's products without even knowing it. They host over 1 million different websites helping store data. Some of the most popular ones are TikTok, Zoom, Walmart, Adobe, Kohl's, AT&T, Nvidia, and Blue Shield, just to name a few. One of the most important partnerships to Oracle is Palantir. Palantir is founded by Peter Thiel, who I have a video on, and also Alex Karp, who I also have a video on. The reason why this sticks out is because Palantir is an AI software that essentially is predicting human behavior that tracks how we exist in our lives.
The president has employed Palantir to carry out this executive order, essentially to merge all data from all different executive branch agencies into one single database.
Palantir is already partnered with the Israeli military, the US military, our health services in the United States, along with the UK's National Health Services.
Founder Peter Thiel is set to secure a contract with the UK's National Health Service.
Okay, wait.
Now, the controversial 5-year contract is valued at more than 400.
Guys, people are explaining it to me. I'm going to read every single time they explain because I truly want to understand. They are the most boring piece of software ever. ERP, CRM. I'm just going to write these things down to look up later. ERM. Because I will learn. I'm going to come back next week the same way I did when I decided to get into economics. Next week, I'm going to be a software developer. ERP, CRM. CRM sounds familiar. Customer Relations Management, something? Okay, now let's see what else is here that I need to understand. Guys, stop typing. I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to scroll up in my chat. Okay, I'm slow. Okay. I don't know. I can go over their 10K. What is a 10K? What is a 10K? A large interface for a database and the database. So they're the database and the thing that the database exists on. Palantir's everywhere. Ugh. Okay, Oracle business in data server managers. Customers are the companies, not public, so people don't hear about them. Oracle is business info. Yeah, so they're like the B2B. They're not business to customer, they're business to business. I understand that, but I don't understand what it is they do. They would have cookies set up. Okay, I've always wondered what the cookies are, so we're also going to look into cookies. Track all the page user views, send that back to the database. Okay, so the cookies are tracking us. When we eat the cookies track us, send back to database. This is how I learn. I start super stupid and then I get better. Happy to jump on and explain. The reason you can't jump on and explain is because there's nowhere for you to jump on. You act like I am a pro streamer. This is my first week back. I don't have a Discord because I'm scared of it. Because last time it didn't work out well. But yeah, I'll have you on to explain it at some point when I get to that point. Okay? Enterprise resource planning. Enterprise resource planning. Wait until I make my Oracle video. Then it's going to be over for all of you. Flowchart. I think it'll keep you safe. Full stack Joe. I don't know what that means. Enter information. But how do you enter the information there? Place to enter information. Is it that they own the Sorry for typing. Yeah, you should. Okay, guys, I'm getting back to the cloud is computing. The cloud in computing refers to a network of remote servers that store and manage data rather than local computers. Okay. You know, okay, control path, not more feet stuff. Oh my God. CRMs are like ERPs. Okay. I start stupid, then end up stupider. Look, it's a gamble. Sometimes that does happen. You know how some business have specialized proprietary software? Oracle develops those apps for companies. Okay. The difference is the data you enter. Okay. It's kind of like software that... Okay. I think it's... Okay, let me just talk to you guys for 1 second. I am coming back to the video. What it feels like to me is... It feels like the kind of software that a big retail store is using to track things, but actually they're partnered with everything and it's bad. Yeah, so Salesforce, that's why Salesforce I get, because I have worked in retail and I have worked in hospitality. I understand a CRM. So it's the stuff that stores the stuff. But they happen to store stuff for a lot of bad guys. They're storing stuff. They kind of own storage. No, but it's more... We'll get there. Well, you know what? Let's just put this on ice. They hold data. They make apps. They make the apps that hold the data. We're getting there. Okay? I feel like we've really made progress.
80 million.
This partnership with Palantir is scary. There's really no other way to put it. Palantir is known to leak data to Israel and other countries to spy on American citizens. And don't think that you are special. But let's learn a little more about Larry Ellison.
That's fucking rude.
Outside of Oracle, because it'll tell us a lot about what the future looks like. Larry Ellison's biographies are called The Difference Between Larry Ellison and God, is God doesn't think he's Larry Ellison and everyone else must lose. I couldn't have described his personality better. He thinks he is God, which is very common for these tech oligarchs, where they feel like they deserve the right to everything. Larry Ellison has always been a flashy, big timer, big spender, keep the spotlight on me kind of guy.
It would be a pleasure.
Okay.
See you, buddy. This is Larry.
Hey, the Oracle of Oracle. What a pleasure. Nice to see you.
He owns yachts, planes, sailboat racing team, but it's never enough, which is why he bought the 6th largest island in Hawaii. In 2012, he bought the island of Lanai for $300 million from the company Dole.
I got a question as well. How do you buy Hawaii? I didn't think you could do that. And that makes me real concerned, because I know a lot of guys who want to buy a lot of places, and they're all the tech bros and they want to buy them. How do you just buy Hawaii though?
They are the pineapple company. Why they owned it is for a different story.
So it's going to be a little, if you will, laboratory for sustainability in businesses of small scale.
I often wonder if these billionaires hear themselves, because what he's saying is he's using the island as a testing ground, and the people that live there are the lab rats. Let's just call it what it is.
We're going to support the local people and help them start these businesses.
The people of Lanai know this is a farce, because the first thing Ellison did when he bought the island was open a Nobu. Many locals claim there's nothing they can do because he owns the business they work for and the homes they live in, and since he's been there, they've implemented a 30-day eviction notice. They say he's the end of the line and holds all of the power. In Lanai, the average salary is rising, but not due to pay increases, but due to rich folks moving into the island, and this will eventually price out the locals. It has become an escape for the rich and famous. Some of the people that visit there are Tom Cruise, Elon Musk, and none other than the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, taking Pilates at the local hotel. I'm going to interrupt the video real quick. This is not a sponsorship, but I'm going to put a link in the description to a foundation that's helping feed and bring water to Palestinian families in Gaza. I want to make it very clear, I get nothing from this. I get no money. This is not a sponsorship. The only thing I get from this is putting my head on that pillow at night, knowing that I tried to do more than what I'm doing now. If that's something you're into, the link is there. However, liking and subscribing does help me, so please and thank you for watching. At this point, you may be thinking, okay, this guy's a little wild, but none of this really impacts me. So
no,
let's
it does,
into
but
what
I don't
he's
know
doing to
how.
Media and tech of today.
Recently described by President Trump as one of the most serious players anywhere in the world, and by one media outlet as at the center of everything. He's the founder of Oracle, one of the most remarkable companies in the world. And Larry, it's a great pleasure to have you with us.
We have artificial intelligence, which is a massive one, social media and legacy media such as CBS and Paramount. In AI, he is not competing with ChatGPT, Grok, or Google's AI. Instead, all of these AI models need massive infrastructure to run the data on, and Oracle has the ability to do it. Think of Oracle as the landowner to where companies can build their businesses on top of, and they pay Oracle for the land. He is essentially an AI landlord. Larry Ellison's net worth jumped $100 billion in one day. The reason for this massive jump is because in recent earnings, they had listed almost $500 billion worth of back orders from AI companies. All these massive databases that we're seeing built around the country and the world, Oracle is at the middle of that. We often think, what does the future of AI look like? And it's here. We are living in it.
Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
So this is what I heard as well. I heard that quote in terms of him talking about not just TikTok, but as I said, like the media. So watching and reporting back on what you're watching, right? And there's a scary thing when you consider things like this is just absolute Fed posting, just so you know ahead of time. But like, when you think like Palantir has a contract with the Aura Ring, right? And Palantir is really interested in going into biotech. So, eventually it'll be like, oh, how is your heart rate responding to what you're seeing on the television? And even that's being reported back. Or like, what is your, you know, things like watching you watch stuff. All kinds of spooky stuff that I don't like in terms of this surveillance thing that Larry Ellison seems to talk about.
The AI will be monitored by AI to then send notifications to AI to let AI know to alert local people. There's no possible way this could go wrong. This is already happening. Police car cameras, phones, social media, it's tracking everything and storing massive data on it.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know about Flock, but it's this private company that does like speed camera stuff. But then they have the ability to lease out their information to anyone, including the federal government. So even though state governments might call to get it in, they're using those cameras for stuff like abortion tracking and ICE enforcement, all sorts of crazy stuff. The Flock camera stuff is very bad. And there's some stuff as well about hardware requirements that got pushed through for tech in terms of I was going to do a Substack post on this. Hardware requirements for tech if you work in the government, knowing that people aren't going to make two versions of everything. So this basically saying you're going to have to put a backdoor in for the government in a lot of things like pregnancy, like baby monitors, right? And it's like very terrifying to think that your Ring camera, your baby monitor, or your Alexa, these things could have a backdoor for the government is very concerning.
It's just a matter of time until they use it for, most likely, security concerns.
We need to unify all of the national data, put it into a database where it's easily consumable by the AI model, and then ask whatever question you like.
There's a lot of information on Larry Ellison out there, but I don't hear enough people talking about his involvement in Stargate. The Stargate project is a $500 billion AI infrastructure plan with countries from around the world. This
Okay, just quickly as well with the Stargate stuff. No, wait, I'll let him
project
talk
was
about it
named
first.
after the film Stargate, where they open portals to other worlds. Stargate is a joint venture by OpenAI. We know them as the creators of ChatGPT, SoftBank, a Japanese robotics company, Oracle, Larry Ellison's company, BlackRock, we all know BlackRock, along with two companies I had never heard of, MGX and PIF. MGX is a United Arab Emirates-owned investment firm.
This is MGX. It's a firm backed by Abu Dhabi Sovereign's Wealth Fund, and it formed less than 2 years ago, and it's already making huge moves. For example, it's partners with Microsoft and BlackRock on a consortium to spend.
Guys, I have to tell you, the amount of stuff that the sovereign wealth funds of the Gulf states are investing in, not good. Like really, 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 really bad. Yeah, I gotta de-Google everything. The problem is, right, I'm trying to get onto like open source software for everything, but I'm not technologically smart enough to do it. So yeah. Google Docs also now has the new waiver said that anything you write in Google Docs, they have the right to put into AI and reproduce. So I don't know. It's all very bad. But I am also concerned about how much the Gulf sovereign wealth funds are investing in things that are also integral to the American government. I can't remember what else obviously TikTok is partly owned by a sovereign wealth fund as well. So it's very concerning.
$100 billion on AI infrastructure.
And PIF is a Saudi Arabia-owned investment firm. Together, these two countries control over $1 trillion in assets investing in AI. This was just announced a few days ago, and I'm adding it to the script. Argentina has also now announced a deal with OpenAI for a Stargate data center. The countries that are involved in this have also been buying Trump's crypto coin, and he's received over $2 billion from it. And this is also on the back of Trump's son signing a deal to build a $1 billion Trump Tower in Dubai. There are so many massive companies involved in this deal, along with Trump's full backing. It's probably over my head, but just know that the biggest players are here, and it's going to affect us. And Larry Ellison's play in all of this is the least amount of risk, because even if these AI companies fail, the infrastructure and land will still be there.
The big technology companies are telling us that they're going to spend $1 trillion on their digital infrastructure over the next 5 years. A lot of that's going to go into data centers.
Any billionaire tech company at this point that wants to build out infrastructure will at some point have to pass through Oracle. Next on our list is social media, where Larry Ellison is going to own TikTok.
Oracle, founded by Ellison in cooperation with the government, monitors this algorithm, to quote, ensure content is free from improper manipulation or surveillance.
This started back in 2020 when Trump was saying we need to ban TikTok because they claim the Chinese company ByteDance had a backdoor access to Americans.
Open Discord. Who are you on Discord? Oh, you mean you want me to open my Discord server? I can't do that because what if it all goes bad? Remember last time when it all went bad? Kevin O'Leary, what's his name? Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Incredible?
Data. They use the same terminology that they...
If you don't stop talking about my feet, and stop talking about my feet when you're not even giving me money, you little bitch. Oh, sick. Okay, Kevin. The authoritarian stack. The authoritarian stack. I'll look at it after. I'm going to end soon, so I'll look at it soon.
Always use when they want to get...
I mean, you can be creepy. It's just not free. If you want to be creepy, you have to send me fucking money.
Something done, and that's making it a security concern.
Do you believe that TikTok is a national security threat or not? Because if it is, and I believe that the emergency powers order that you had put in place at the time suggested that it was that not true?
I do believe that. I do believe it.
It needs to be mentioned that TikTok became bigger than that. After Hamas broke into Israel on October 7, 2023, and Israel upped their genocide of the Palestinians to new heights, TikTok became the front runner of learning and supporting the cause for Palestinians. TikTok would inevitably lead the people talking about the U.S. involvement in Israel, but also Israel's involvement in our government and politics.
And the answer is most of them do if you tell them the facts. But how do you tell them the facts over TikTok?
The leaders of the U.S. and supporters of Israel would say they are losing support, and they would call it a TikTok problem.
But I also want to point out that we have...
Well, I mean, this is true of all media, right? All media forms that are kind of more socially, like, bottom up. So TikTok, X, any of these things where the people are contributing content, it's going to be harder to control. So obviously buy them and then you can control them. Creepers currency and creeper service. Yeah, exactly. The thing is, the person who's being creepy to me is doing it in a very public way, right? Like you can all see them asking to constantly see feet. So I don't have a problem with it because it's being done in public. You can all see it. You can all have your own opinions about creepy feet guy. That's, imagine doing that in public. Embarrassing could never be me. But given that that's happening in public, I don't have a problem. But also, pay me money.
A major generational problem. The issue in the United States of support for Israel is not left and right. And so we really have a TikTok problem.
This put even more pressure to lean into banning TikTok, where Trump may have started it, but Israel supporter Joe Biden was also pushing this narrative. By the time Trump came back into his second term, the foundation for banning TikTok was already set. Larry Ellison was there to reap the rewards and became the frontrunner for the TikTok deal, and even Trump knew this.
Are you open to Elon buying TikTok?
Can I be real? The reason that the guy is sticking around and I'm not getting rid of him, I don't know how to do that.
I would be if he wanted to buy it, yeah. I'd like Larry to buy it too.
Larry Ellison, being the devout supporter of Israel, knew that to start building back their image, TikTok could no longer exist in the hands of someone that doesn't support his narrative. Now, TikTok will be perfectly aligned with his worldview thanks to the new hires from Israel and the IDF to police supposed anti-Semitic content on their platform. And this leads us...
I don't know what's happening in the back room of TikTok now, okay? I think this is true in ways that it's also true, like, whoever owns the platform is going to have access to control what content is on that platform, right? That is true if we're talking about X. That's true if we're talking about Facebook. All of these algorithms, we don't fully know how they are policed, how they are governed. And so, yeah, okay, it's going to be governed differently under Larry Ellison than it was under ByteDance. But that doesn't, like, that's just true no matter what. Whoever owns it is going to mod it is going to police it and govern it in a way that aligns with their political views. So it is true that may have been happening from a Chinese perspective. I don't know. In the same way, it's true that there's like a lot of Russian disinformation on X. You know, these things exist, and X has become much more right-wing under Elon Musk. Guys, whenever I start to research something, I just completely fuck up all my algorithms. So my entire algorithm on TikTok right now is clavicular and looks maxing. So I don't like, when they're like, oh, it's pushing this narrative, I'm like, the narrative I've got is fucking smash your face in with a hammer. All I hear about is like, how to like, I've got to recess maxilla. Guess what? So does Bella Hadid. I don't give a shit, right? But that's all I see. All I see is my recessed infras, my recessed maxilla. Apparently my whole freaking face is recessed. I don't understand. Am I convex? I don't understand. I don't understand how my whole face can be recessed. I don't understand. But I'm not getting anything about anything. All I get on my feed is looks maxes, because you do one little bit of research to see what the influencers are up to see what's happening with the younger generation, and now all you hear about is pulling your freaking mouth with your thumbs and smashing your face in with a hammer. Okay? I don't know what to tell you. They mean a lot to the freaking... This is the problem though, right? These people who are all about smashing your face in with a hammer are also really good friends with Nick Fuentes. So like, you start by being like, oh, I'm just gonna looks max because looks are all that matters in the world. And then the next thing you're gonna say, of course they're the only thing that matters in the world because I have to have the beauty standards of the white race, which is superior. What are you talking about, guys? What? It is like sabotaging your friend's Netflix account, only I'm sabotaging my own accounts all the time. Yeah, looks maxing is eugenics, and it makes sense that it, like, what was Clavicular saying the other day? He was like, I'm going to have a girl. I'm going to have a daughter because I take so much testosterone, and when you affect your hormones, it means you're more likely to have a girl. I don't know. I don't know. She takes out the trash daily, doesn't turn on her waist. I take out the trash all the time. I would be a looks maxer if I was a guy, probably. Poor men. But I'm a girl, so... oh God, guys, sorry. I have a very non-politics rant that I was thinking about today. And I just have to tell you, because I was thinking, wow, this doesn't apply to girls because girls are so beautiful and amazing that literally nothing could ever give you the ick about a girl. But I was thinking about when you get a crush on someone and you're trying to not have that crush, so you're trying to come up with icks for that. Hang on, I'll come off this thing for a second to tell you about this because I've come up with the best thing ever. Okay, so you have a crush. I know looks maxing applies more to women. That's why I refer to the male looks maxers as men in women dominated fields, because body dysmorphia is for women and the men shouldn't be doing it. It's very embarrassing that they're working in our fields. Okay, but I'm just saying, if I were a man, I would probably be smashing my face in with a hammer. But this is what I was thinking about, and it's super important. You know when you get a crush, and the crush isn't really on that person. The crush is just on, like, you just like having a crush, and now you've got a crush and you got to get rid of the crush, and the only way to get rid of the crush is to come up with an ick. I've come up with a master ick for men, and I'm so sorry if this applies to you. But knowing that me telling you, you can stop doing this and you can fix your life, okay? Because this is the master ick. I've got two. And the crazy thing is, they don't, like, if a woman did it, I don't know if it would give me the ick. It's only for men. I don't know if anything a woman did would give me the ick. I want you to imagine you're out, nice dinner, fancy restaurant, time to pay. Oh my God. And the man pulls out a Velcro wallet. I want you to imagine it. Beautiful restaurant. Ah! Kills me. Kills me. No. There's guys paying for your friend's drinks. If you have a crush on someone, imagine they have a Velcro wallet and it'll go away. It'll go away immediately. Next. I'm sorry if this applies to anyone ahead of time. Imagine he has a pet bird. Now that's fine. But imagine he goes everywhere with the pet bird on his shoulder. Starting to get not fine. Imagine introducing someone to your parents and they've got a pet bird on their shoulder and they don't explain it. They don't acknowledge it. And these are the two icks that I have decided they rule the world. They rule the world. I've never met anyone who's done either of these things, but I was like, there has to be an ick. There has to be an ick that just, like, it automatically works. But as I'm saying, I already told you, Hannah, none of this works. None of this works if you're trying to get rid of a crush on a girl. Because there's literally nothing that a woman can do that... I can't think of a single thing. I have been trying to, like, come up with something. There is nothing that I can come up with that a woman can do where I'm like instant write-off. But a Velcro wallet on a man? Velcro wallet on a girl? Okay. That's interesting. That's fashion. Bird on a girl? Okay. Animal advocate. Fascinating, cool girl. Aquarius, obviously, bird on her shoulder. So it doesn't work for women. Yeah, of course, animal abuser immediately kicks anyone out. But I'm never even going to have a crush in the beginning on an animal abuser. Velcro wallet on a carabiner. I see it. Okay, bye perp. Mwah. We gotta finish the video. I just had to do this detour because it's been on my mind all day. The Velcro wallet. Oh! So bad. But it doesn't work for women, so I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you, Hannah. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I can't help anyone. Bye. I'm gonna end soon anyway.
Into legacy media where it's no longer just Larry Ellison, but now his entire family is involved. With Daddy's money, David Ellison, the son...
Well, but this is part of the antitrust monopoly thing, right? Because if you don't have the same people owning the companies, then technically it's not a monopoly. Technically, David Ellison owns Paramount. It's not Larry Ellison. Even if you use Larry Ellison's money to buy it, it doesn't matter because David Ellison owns it. Therefore, it's not a monopoly. And when they eventually have to fold into one another, oh, well, we couldn't have seen that. Faint hint of misandry. It should be a strong hint of misandry. It should be a strong hint. And it actually has nothing to do with the hatred of men. It's just that's nature. I'm sorry. This is a woman in male-dominated fields, okay? Hating the opposite sex.
Son of Larry Ellison and the heir to the throne creates Skydance Production in 2006. David Ellison decided to drop $60 million on a film he starred in and no one cared. After this shot to his ego, he claims he wanted to be in the background, now pulling the strings of Skydance, the production and finance company. Somehow, Skydance raised
Villain story. Nobody likes your movie.
$50 million, and they later raised $700 million. I can't imagine how they got the power to raise that money. I'm sure completely unrelated. Larry Ellison at this point was the 6th richest man in the world. Look, I know, I'm a hater. I'll be the first to tell you I'm a hater.
Hello, fellow hater.
But I'm not going to hold Skydance. They have put out some bangers. They put out Mission Impossible movies, Jack Reacher, Gemini Man, Top Gun. However, they put out one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my life.
Tell us.
And it's Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Didn't see it.
And now I have a vendetta against them for wasting my time and
Fair
money
enough.
on that movie.
The FCC just approving that long simmering merger between Paramount and Skydance.
This was also something that was very interesting to me, is that Paramount Skydance merger took a really long time, but this Netflix Warner Brothers one, I mean, obviously it still has a whole lot of regulation to go through, et cetera, but it seemed to, like, the deal seemed to be done very quickly. I know the deal's not done, but I'm like the actual accepting of the offer on paper, it all seemed to come out a lot quicker than the Paramount Skydance, which was pretty much the whole of 2024 was that dance.
Media company. Now remember the context to this. This is a deal getting the green light just weeks after Paramount agreed to settle with the Trump administration for $16 million.
An important part of this buyout is Larry Ellison and Trump obviously have a tight relationship, and Trump was suing CBS for an interview they did with Kamala Harris. Paramount, remember, the parent company of CBS, would eventually settle with Trump, but right after that, they would be bought out.
The White House basically had the final say, the Trump administration, on whether this merger got approved, with critics suggesting that the lawsuit settlement may have played a part.
When they were acquired by Skydance, they would put out a joint statement saying they would address Trump's concerns with the bias in the media.
Colbert has no talent. I mean, I could take anybody here. I could go outside on the beautiful streets and pick up a couple of people that do just...
Bro. Colbert? No talent? There are people you can say that about. I don't think you can say that about Colbert.
Just as well or better. They get higher ratings than he did. He's got no talent.
It is no coincidence that late-night host at CBS, Stephen Colbert, would be fired. Within these buyouts from Skydance would come the free press.
I'm doing something different. It's an announcement, and one that I'm so excited to be making. The Free Press is a news organization above all, so I'll get right to it.
Is it?
This morning, the Free Press is joining Paramount.
Would we call the Free Press a news organization? When you have a correspondent specifically for virgins, do we call you a news organization? I feel like you're an opinion organization. I don't think Colbert's late night is as good as like the Colbert Report, but like he was just calling him wholesale not a funny like or a talented comedian, which is just not true. And then to put this woman in as the head of news, to say that Colbert has no talent and then put this woman in who has absolutely no experience whatsoever running a newsroom, whatsoever in journalism. I'm sorry. Come on.
Owned by Barry Weiss.
You know, not compromising myself, not self-censoring myself, not doing the very things that would betray why I began this profession in the first place. So
Let's be real about why you began this profession in the first place, Barry. And that's because Mark Andreessen gave you a shit ton of money to open a Substack. Just like your friends, Matt Taibbi, Glenn Greenwald. It wasn't that you had this crazy, you're not some self-made journalist who did an amazing thing. You're a parallel media organization that's owned by corporate interests, that produces content in line with your corporate interests' wishes, that has absolutely no freaking sway whatsoever on... sorry. I hate this lady.
I left with a resignation letter, sort of heard around the world.
Heard around the world. Literally no one knew who she was before she started doing genocide denial for Israel.
No,
and even then, I doubt people know who she is. Barry Weiss is a staunch supporter of Israel that has run massive PR campaigns for the IDF in the Israeli state.
The bigger deal is that she's paid by Mark Andreessen. Like, these people who the original Substackers, right? And I am on Substack, but people need to understand the issues with Substack, the issues with this alternate media, the issues with taking these people who were somewhat respected before and giving them a bunch of money to write exactly what you want them to write. This is what we talk about when we talk about teal bucks. These are Andreessen bucks. Like, this was money that was put into these Substacks to begin with to get them off the ground. The Free Press wasn't made from Barry Weiss's dogged determination. No, it was propped up from the very beginning.
Denying everything from genocide to starvation. The reason why this is so important is because she was brought in as the editor-in-chief of CBS and will report directly to David Ellison. Barry Weiss is also a strong Donald Trump supporter, but her loyalty to Israel knows no bounds. This process of buying TikTok and all these media platforms...
It's always crazy though. It's like, I'm sorry, it's loyalty to money. It's loyalty to money.
Is going to create a perfect funnel for Larry Ellison to sit at the top of and manipulate everything to his liking. Skydance is currently trying to buy Warner Brothers for $60 billion, which would lead to the largest acquisition in history for Hollywood. Do all these buyouts sound familiar? Currently, I'm writing this on October 15th, 2025, and Warner Brothers has denied this, claiming it's too low. But David Ellison says he's going to find more investors.
They're in on it together. Netflix, the Ellisons, like, okay, I know I'm freaking Fed posting again, but it's like the rejection of the Ellisons' offers to buy Warner Brothers was intentional by Netflix. They only want Discovery, and Discovery is not being bought by Netflix. So this was to drive up the price. Like, I don't fully get it, but I'm gonna crack it, and then you guys are all gonna be sorry, because I'm gonna work it out. And I'm going to work out what a cloud is and what a CRM is. And then it's going to be over for you, Larry Ellison. Once I work out what all of this is, it's going to be over for you.
To increase the bid. All of these buyouts have given Larry Ellison the power and control over the infrastructure of AI, the access to financial records, medical records, government records, one of the largest social media...
No, Vox, I completely agree. Barry Weiss didn't come on the page with the Gaza genocide. That's not what made her a big deal. The Free Press and Barry Weiss have been... Barry Weiss, Glenn Greenwald, and Matt Taibbi are all different versions of the same monster. And they've all been around for a while. They came with a certain level of credibility, which is why they were bought in the first place. My mouse.
platforms in the world and dominance over our entire news and media system in the United States. This isn't a Democrat or Republican issue. He funds both parties because, just like I said earlier, everything is for sale, and that includes our government. After taking in all of this information, if I had to guess, Larry and his son are just getting started in the media and will continue.
Sorry, I know I keep pausing and talking about stuff that's unrelated, but it's really interesting as well to look at the tech people around, like, they were huge supporters of Al Gore because Al Gore was like going to be the tech guy. So it is true in terms of, like, it's not necessarily a political affiliation, it's who's going to do the best by our industry, right? So no, it's not political. And yes, you have to, like, put money in both sides if you're not sure who's going to win. But I can tell you for a fact, Larry Ellison wanted Trump to win. And Larry Ellison has not been shy in giving to things like the inauguration fund. But yeah, a lot of these people give to both sides, and they kind of talk to one another and decide who they're going to throw their weight behind as well.
To expand their holdings of media companies. At this point, I don't know if all of these oligarchs can be stopped, and if anyone could, it would be the people at the top, but I believe we are long past that point.
Okay, well, I'm going to do I thought that was good, but I need to get in more. There's more I need to know. And I'm going to go now and learn that without you, because I'm still not in the position. I know streamers like to do things where they like learn online. I'm not there yet, okay? I'm too sensitive. So I'm going to do it independently and privately and on my own. But I'll see you next week. We'll do the news. We'll do the news more than we did the news this week. But thank you for watching. Thank you for being around. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the subs and the memberships. Means a lot. And I'll see you next week. And stay cool.